Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another YouTube exclusive right here on the new ATR Network for the Gangone podcast. Now, guys, you guys know and watch the show. We talk a lot about the independent scene. And one of the guys who I've been wanting to get on, I was actually fortunate enough, he was actually the first independent guy I saw wrestle. Is actually the gentleman who we have on right now. He holds many titles, too many for me to list, but he puts on banger after banger after banger matches. The one, the only Dr. Sleep himself, Mr. Anthony Gangone. Anthony, what's going on?
Thank you for that intro. I'm very worthy of it, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And like I said, you work with a lot of the promotions in the Northeast. If you want to just list some of them, just so that people, in case they don't know the promotions you work with, just so then they can have a chance to look it up later on after they watch this interview on YouTube.
Yeah, I've worked all over the Northeast. Right now, Titan and recombination wrestling are kind of homes for me. But I've been all over the Northeast. I've wrestled upstate for Immortal. I wrestled for Excite. I've wrestled at CCW. I've wrestled all over the place. So, yeah, if you're on the Northeast and you see me on a show, a poster, whatever, come see me because you will get your money's worth.
Yes, and like I said, the first independent show I was at was Full Faith Wrestling when they held their show last March. I think it was last March when Glacier was on.
Yeah,
that was my first independent show I was ever at.
That show is very important to me for various reasons. So that's awesome to hear.
Yes, that was the very first show I've been at. I think I've seen you now at least a dozen or so times.
Well, I left a good impression, obviously. So you're coming out, you're supporting. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And let me actually get into that because I know Full Faith has a show coming up on May 13th. I know I'm kind of going a little bit ahead here, but I want to start off with Full Faith. I know last I remember you were a part of the faction with Joe Ocasio, Cesar Bononi, and Marty Flames.
Correct.
What is it like working with them, especially somebody like Cesar who is on AEW TV?
Yeah, I mean, me and Joe have a long history with one another. When I was at House of Glory, we had a match for the FTW Next Gen Championship that, we literally broke the ring that match, and it went all over. And the people, the audience that day, really enjoyed that match, and me and Joe also really enjoyed it and beating the hell out of each other. So from there was a mutual respect that came from that. And Joe needed some help in Full Faith Wrestling. He came to me. I was more than willing to help him out on that. There was one name that you missed to mention. That's part of the whole thing, which is Rex Lawless.
Rex Lawless, yeah.
Who is also doing big things as well. So, working with those guys, they all have different attributes that I admire or I can learn from. Like Caesar, it's just, I mean, I can't gain his height, but he looks like a star. He clearly puts a lot of time and effort into wrestling. Joe's explosiveness, just Rex has got himself in crazy shape, and Marty is just someone that's been around for a while and a lot of experience. So there's a lot to learn from each other being a part of that stable. But the most important thing is to win. That's the thing that we learn from each other the most is to get that W.
Yep, and last I remember from that show in March, I think you guys walked out. I know Joe walked out with the heavyweight title. If I remember correctly, didn't you and Cesar walk out with the tag titles?
No. That didn't happen exactly that way, so I don't want to be reminded of that. But yeah, no problem at all. But yes, Joe did walk out with the championship. I've had many opportunities there at Full Faith. I actually did hold the tag titles at one point. Over there with Johnny Malloy, but every time I've been at Full Faith, just about there's been a title involved. And, the show that's coming up is a big deal because Mike Magnum is someone I've known for a long time. I've never been in the ring with him in any kind of match. There might have been maybe a battle royal or a rumble here or there, but as far as I'm aware, we've never had a match with one another. And now to have our first match in a ladder match of all things with the wrestling club watching or pretty big deal, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward more to kind of embarrass Mike in his own.
Guys, definitely, if you get the opportunity, go see Full Faith Wrestling. They do put on great. They do put on great shows. Just hope Glacier doesn't show up because then it may start snowing. I'm just saying.
Listen, I want Glacier to show up. That's someone I would love to be in the ring with. I would love for Glacier to show up, and maybe I'll be the one that gives him his final fatality, huh?
Because what I remember with that one, that entire week leading up to that show, it was nice and sunny one week. Then the day of the show, it was cold, it was raining, it was snowing.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing they don't really bring up in documentaries about WCW. He actually does control the weather, so yeah, so that's something he can do as well. So, but I would love to. We had a small interaction. I believe that show that he was on. I would love for him to come back and maybe have a match with me.
Hey, you never know. You never know. The guy is still in great shape. You never know. But I want to get now to another promotion that you work with, and that's Titan. Because I was lucky enough to see you in your match versus PJ a couple weeks ago. Which, by the way, kudos to you too. That match, I think, it felt like 40 minutes. But you had the crowd on their feet for the entire 40 minutes. What was it like in that match with that type of atmosphere working with somebody like PJ?
Yeah, I think it's clear that the Titan Nation really is behind PJ, and I heard a lot about PJ. I've seen him wrestle, obviously, but this was my first real hands-on interaction with him, and he showed me a lot that day. And he's definitely a tough fighter. And I did say some words to him after the match uh, about him being a warrior, and if that day ever comes, which I'm not trying to make it come, but if that day ever comes, I wouldn't mind if he was the one that took me out as far as being champion. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I took it to PJ, but there's still a lot more to do if we ever get in the ring. I think there's a lot, even a better fight between us that might happen in the future. And that was just a little taste. First time we've ever been in the ring together, really. And yeah, I mean, the crowd clearly enjoys PJ, and you have to be, the connection that PJ has to the crowd is something special. You can't just, it's not his family members or anything like that. These are fans that really enjoy what PJ brings to the table.
Yeah, and like I said, that match, I mean, like I said, you put on banger after banger after banger, and that one for me is like in the top Anthony Gangone matches I've seen.
Yeah.
Because with you, it seems like when you're going into the ring, it doesn't matter who you're facing. You go in, and I feel like every match, you always tell a phenomenal story. Has that always been your approach, to be more of a storyteller?
I mean, I just went in there and I tried. The goal, the ultimate goal is to win, and maybe what certain people enjoy about what I do in there is that I go in there with the objective to win, to be as intense as possible, to be intelligent, which is something that maybe a lot of people in wrestling don't try to be. And but that's something that I try to bring to the table. I don't try to make stupid mistakes or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, my mentality. I mean, I grew up on uh, old school wrestling, even though I wasn't of that era. But I grew up on old school wrestling, and I grew up on people like Jake Roberts and and NWA and things like that. So like I like to think of myself. I hate putting myself in a box in any kind of way. I like to think of myself as a hybrid kind of wrestler, and every kind of style of wrestling that I've enjoyed or grew up watching or enjoy watching now is kind of in there in some way. Like a sponge, I guess. When it comes to wrestling, and there's a little bit of something from here, a little bit from something from there, and that's kind of my approach.
That's the one thing I've noticed in a lot of matches. I've seen you face many different types of people, and it seems like every time you are able to adapt, but you're able to adapt and still put on an incredible match. Because another one that I remember, because I wasn't at the first encounter you guys had. I was at the second encounter,
Mm-hmm.
and that was you and Vicious Vicky.
Yeah.
And I was saying this to a friend of mine who was with me that night. I thought you two had the match of the night at the anniversary show, and you guys opened the damn show.
Yeah.
Now, taking it to somebody working with Vicky, obviously it's a much different opponent. What was your mindset going into that match, and how do you feel about how that match turned out?
I mean, for me, it's the same mindset I have with every match. It wasn't anything different with Vicky being in there. In my eyes, Vicky was the one that had to have the strategy with everything that happened in the previous match.
Yeah.
And what happened in the second match, she had to get on my level, kind of thing. And she tried her best, and I don't think she quite made it. But I mean, clearly, I made her look good enough for you to think that she was a valuable opponent for me. But at the end of the day, just like PJ and everybody else, I put her ass to sleep, and I move on. But I mean, to bring that up, you know, BCW person to talk about Mike Law of all people, yet talking about me. I just, by your words, had the match of the night or one of the best matches of the night, or actually made Vicky look like a wrestler for once. And they're not really talking about me. So Anthony Cole, what's up with that? I mean, I say that every single time, and they don't really talk about me, even though I'm the Grand Dragon champion. I've beat 3 people in one night to earn that championship, and everyone they put in my path, I either sent them to the hospital or I put them to sleep. Vicky, you got both.
Because unfortunately, I don't think they believe they. I don't think they see what the fans see.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to look at it. And again, I'm just looking at it from what I saw in the ring. And I've seen a couple of your matches since you won the Grand. I actually, if I remember correctly, I think I was there the night you won the Grand Dragon. Because I think you won it against Darius, if I remember correctly.
Darius in the finals. That's right.
And I was just sitting there going, I think the perfect guy to take that title initially was you.
Yeah.
Because you're able to, and it doesn't matter who your opponent is, you're able to make that title mean something.
Yeah.
And I think the other side of that equation has to be the guy that you're working with in BCW, the royalty himself, Prince Nana.
Yeah.
What has it been like working with Prince, and how did that whole thing come to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic. Prince Nana has been such a positive influence on my career as a wrestler, as a human being. Uh, he puts these obstacles in my way. He gives me great advice. And how this all occurred was back in 2020, right before the lockdowns and all that. Nana actually came into CZW, where I was at the time, and it was an appearance that he made that he, at the time he was not doing. He was more selective on things.
Yeah.
So from there, that was a night that him and Jimmy Rave were actually, did a little thing and kind of embarrassed me. And we were supposed to go on to do something together, all together, a match, whatever it was. And obviously the lockdowns happened and a lot of other life situations occurred. So, but yeah, I mean, from that interaction at CZW, And I knew Nana before then, but that was the first time that him and I really kind of sat down and discussed things. And from there, that this friendship and this mentorship kind of came about. And I have to give a lot of credit to I have to give a lot of credit to Nana and Steve Ray, who's no longer with us, and Steve Mack, because there was a time in my career where uh, some things occurred, some falling out occurred, and I kind of felt like I couldn't trust people, or I felt like veterans wrongfully looked at me a certain way, and those are the guys that kind of or had the would listen to me or speak to me or give me advice and things like that. So I always appreciate those men because it was not the best of times kind of situation, but they really helped me out, and my life couldn't be any better, and my career couldn't be any better at this moment. It's what I look forward to. So um,
Yeah, no, and I completely see where you're coming from because I feel like since you've been with Prince Nana, especially in BCW, you're on. You could take the Grand Dragon title and the World Heavyweight title, and to me, they're on the same level right now.
yeah,
Because I think you have done so much with that title in a short amount of time that whoever does whenever it happens to take the title off of you, it'll mean something because you've done a lot with that title.
yeah. You should send this video to Anthony Cole. Make sure that he sees this. And yeah, I mean, I would agree, except I'm not losing the title anytime soon.
Oh,
And not only that, I mean, I would throw in there the fact that I did beat Darius before, and Darius is a great, fantastic wrestler, probably top 5% of wrestlers I've ever been in the ring with. But I could be a dual champion. I could be the women's champion if I want. I beat Vicky too. She gets the title shot the same night I beat her. Somehow that happens. But I'll take that title too. I'll take the tag titles. Nana could be my partner. He don't even have to tag in, and I'll do that too. But make sure Anthony Cole sees it.
I'll definitely make sure he sees this video. But I want to get to one of your other matches you have coming up on
Yeah,
next Saturday. Steel Cage, you and Rick Recon
yeah,
for both the Titan Championship and the Funhouse title. Now, obviously, you've had a running, it feels like, the last couple of Titan shows. If it's not Rick, it's Blaze. If it's not, it seems like it's one of them.
hmm
What are your thoughts going into this match with Rick, being that you guys are going to both basically be in a cage, and there shouldn't be any interference?
yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, Rick is lucky for having this match because I did beat him before. Even with Blaze's help, he still couldn't get the job done. But if this is the way to prove to Rick that he needs to stop interfering with my other affairs, then that's what I have to do. And putting that steel cage up, I have been in a steel cage before. It was a kind of a War Games match. Greg Excellence was a part of that. He dropped me right on top of my head with his pile driver. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the king of rock and roll needs to understand that he's locked in there with me. I'm not locked in there with him. He's locked in there with me. And I always, a lot of people see anger as a Achilles heel, but in my case, it only makes me better. And I'm very angry at Rick Recon right now. So once I get him inside that cage, we'll see what's up. We'll see if he really does deserve to be that champion. If he does deserve to beat me, but I don't think he can. And I look forward to it.
Yeah, like I said, folks, that Titan presents their next show next Saturday, April 29th, down in Toms River, New Jersey. You're definitely going to want to get your tickets for it because the steel cage match alone between Anthony Gangone and Rick Recon is going to be the seller to me.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony, got a couple more questions for you before we wrap up tonight. If you had the opportunity to face any wrestler, doesn't matter what era or promotion, if they're in the indies or they were in the indies, who would it be?
Yeah, I think there's like multiple answers to that. I've answered this a few times all over the place, and I'm sure it changes day by day. But like Jake Roberts always is one that comes up to in my mind because I think even facing him or whatever the case is, I would learn so much by just being in the ring with him. Macho Man would be another. Terry Funk, Mr. Perfect. As far as like maybe more current wrestlers, Bryan Danielson would be someone I would love to be in the ring with, and yeah, there's a lot out there that I would hope or wish to face as far as like wrestlers that are more current. You know, Titan has a show coming up, and I saw they had Ultimo Dragon on the show, and I believe he's wrestling, and I would love to throw my name in there to face Ultimo Dragon because that to me, on a personal level, Ultimo Dragon was someone so unique growing up and watching him in WCW. And me and Sonny Ono kind of have a little bit of history because when I faced Kaz Hayashi, Sonny Ono was his manager. I actually got to punch him in the face that night because he was taking a selfie on the apron. So, I would love to do that match. Ultimo Dragon's a legend all over wrestling. Everyone's seen those pictures of him with 11 titles or whatever it was. So that's a dream match for me too, and that's very possible to actually happen. So if Billy or anybody else from Titan Management is listening, I think Anthony Gangone versus Ultimo Dragon, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna beat Rick. I think for the title that would be a great match for the fans.
That would be a fantastic match. So for people in the New Jersey independent scene, you don't want to miss any of this interview in case you're just watching now, because Anthony has called out quite a few people tonight. So you never know where you're going to see. But Anthony, before I let you go, first of all, thank you for hopping on tonight. It is always a pleasure having you on. It's always a pleasure getting to talk to you at the shows. I know we spoke about Titan, we spoke about Full Faith. Is there any other shows that you like to promote? And also, where can the fans find you on social media?
Yeah, media, you can find me at Anthony Gangone. And that's on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me at Anthony Gangone _ Facebook. Just look up Anthony Gangone. Yeah, I'm really I'm all over the place. I'm in New York, a decent amount coming up. I'm in New Jersey, a decent amount coming up. I think I've had some talks places. Maybe I'll be going upstate soon. Maybe be going to different states soon. So there's a lot coming up. I would definitely, if you're interested, keep tabs on social media, and you'll know where I'll be. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and I'm very happy that's happening. And you literally will never know when I'll show up. Maybe I'll show up in a big arena show as a wrestler. Maybe I have to help my friend Tony Khan out and break up some people from beating each other up, that kind of thing. So you never know when you're gonna see me, and I like that a lot. I like to be unpredictable.
That I totally get you on that. And again, Anthony, for what you've done so far, obviously, like I said, I've seen you wrestle quite a bit in the last year, and every match you put on is, like I said in the beginning, is banger after banger after banger. And I think the sky's the limit for you right now. And I can't wait to see what the rest of 2023 and beyond has for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for saying that, and you have great taste and who you like as a professional wrestler. So there you go.
But for Anthony Gangone, I'm John. This has been an Around the Ropes YouTube exclusive. Catch you guys on the next one.